There we go. We're live. Is the background distracting? I hope not, because it's staying.
Happy birthday, Johnny!
Thank
Happy
you.
birthday!
Woohoo!
If I wasn't so extra, I would have had a nice little. You got your bell, Lori?
I did.
Yeah, there we go.
I'm going to have another chocolate candy bar in your honor.
Yes.
I have. All I got is this.
Oh,
yeah.
Who got you?
Those are the good
these?
ones.
Oh.
One of the viewers sent it to me. Actually, I ran down the stairs like Santa Claus was at the front door
Oh,
because
I was at my front door.
she said she sent me a text saying it arrived, but I was up at like 2 p.m. ish or something around in there, or when I seen it, and she sent the text at like 11. So it had been sitting outside since 11 o'clock, and I'm like, oh my god!
Oh my goodness!
I said I will run unless something chasing me and I can't kill it. I ran this time. But as you've seen on the for those who watched the walk around, that it was overcast. It was like 60 degrees, and so it was just fine. Perfect.
You have a lot of birthday wishes on your video birthday card from Becca.
I see. Thank y'all. Some of y'all's birthday is Friday, so hopefully I'll remember to tell y'all. One of y'all, Googler.
Someone has the same birthday as you, and I can't remember who it
Whose
is.
birthday is Friday?
It was one of the viewers'
Oh.
birthday is Friday, so I was just trying to say happy birthday now. A lot of y'all saying that your brothers, not it wasn't just one of you, it was a few of you, said your brother's birthday is tomorrow. So happy birthday to them.
Wow. Okay, happy birthday, everyone. One more. Okay, I'm gonna take my hat off.
So, well, happy birthday. Happy birthday. Well, I'm saying it to you. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thank you for the happy birthday wish.
It's like when you greet, someone says, "Oh, happy birthday!" Oh yeah,
Happy
you
birthday
too.
to
Yeah,
everybody.
you
To
too.
everybody.
Okay,
Everybody's
yeah.
born today. It's y'all's birthday too. You can celebrate. I'll get you a hot tamale. I got some over here.
As the Beatles song goes, today is your birthday. It's my birthday too.
Oh, you're muted, Tony.
Are you going to be pulling candy out of the
No.
crevices?
The purse is empty today. Well, I think. Might be a rabbit in the hat. I don't know. Other than that, there's nothing down there.
I love some
Also, there it is. ShiningHogHealing.com for your own copy of the Morning Sky Shamanic Oracle deck. I got mine. I've been playing around with it all day. That's my favorite card. I got to show everybody. That's my favorite. I don't know what it is about skies and trees, but I can't.
Takes you to your happy place.
It does, because it's got the little misty look to it, and it's.
So next time you travel by airplane and you get all keyed up, you need to carry that card with you and just look at it.
Because the airport turns me into that person.
Turns everybody into that person.
Because I'm not an experienced traveler. I don't travel by airplane a lot, and so when I get there, it's like, oh my god.
Okay, Lucky Girl posted the link. Thank you, Lucky Girl Angel.
Thank you,
very
lucky girl.
Oh, and so not the only reason I'm saying it is because today, before we start, I will do a giveaway at the beginning for the Shamanic Oracle deck, Morning Sky, and then we will do one at the end for the Tarot deck. So right now, in the chat, and wait. Okay, yes. In the chat between 1 and 100, put a number, and whoever wins, the first person I see, not the first person who types it, the first person I see, I will get it sent to you. So right now, 1 through 100.
I'm going to get more water.
For the Morning Sky. Jody, I'm going to send you one anyway.
When she gets settled somewhere.
Thank you, Hope. Now, for no, actually, I won't say that.
Y'all keep guessing if nobody's getting it.
Oh, Jesus. Retrograde just threw them all at the same time. It's like at first it was nothing, and then they just all move up. I've seen someone close. So in 5, 4, 3, 2, and the winner is Karen Dean.
Oh, good for Karen.
Karen Dean.
Well deserved.
That was not
Congrats,
the number,
Karen.
but this is the name. That's the first one I can find. StreamYard is stuck, so I can't find your number that won, but there you go. Karen Dean, if you will email me at tarotsapprentice@gmail.com, your name and address, or if you want to email Tony directly, because it'll be coming from Tony. What's your email, Tony?
Oh God, here we go.
I know it's like the Second Baptist Street.
I'm gonna put it in the chat. I'm gonna put it in the chat
Now,
because
she can just email me if you want, and I can forward it. But email Tony directly because it's coming from her. So
Shining Hawk, Reiki, something, something, something,
yeah,
something.
it's very long.
Shining Hawk Shamanic Reiki at gmail.com.
There you go.
I
So,
know
Karen,
my husband laughs at me every time. He's like, "Why did you make it so complicated?"
I don't think that's that complicated.
Well, that's because you do Reiki, Lori.
Y'all notice Tony's t-shirt she's got on.
It's always Tony. See,
It's always
tarotsapprentice@gmail.com. How easy is that? It's always Tony.
It's
Tony
always
Shamanic
that
Reiki.
It's
Oh,
always up to something.
is today my
Always.
actual birthday? Yes, May the 24th, 19 blah blah blah.
Oh, Bob Dylan is 81. Same as Bob Dylan. You can sing
Well,
us
I
a
was
song.
first. So today is my birthday. Thank you very much.
Bob Dylan can sit.
Okay, so congratulations to Karen. And I'm going to be doing some videos for this right after this. So
If anybody wants to know more about Johnny, Becca and I did a video last night that posted this morning. That's all readings on Johnny.
That's so cute. It was so good.
So adorable.
it was
made
so
me
petty.
giggle.
Thank you very much.
Especially the cooking part.
I have a slight announcement too. The tarot class that I'm going to teach in August the 5th is when it starts. We will be using the Rider-Waite to teach, and I have a sort of a cheat sheet that I send you before the class starts. But also, God dog it, StreamYard is broken today. But if you go, that is the name, trilliumtarot.com. You can get the detailed list. I think it's $10 from Etsy. You can get the download. She made a fantastic document
Awesome.
format to where so it's I would have no patience to create things, and so she
Stephanie's
did
awesome.
an amazing job. And so you can go and get a very detailed cheat sheet from trilliumtarot.com. There's also a YouTube channel for Trillium Tarot, so be sure to go and visit. Thank you very much, Lucky Girl. You're always on it. So yes, the quick reference document is there for those learning the tarot. Even if you don't take the class, go get the notes.
And there's
So
tons of Rider-Waite. So you can get the Radiant White Spirit, which is old world coloring. You can get your basic standard Rider-Waite, which usually has the plaid back and standard colors. You can get the Radiant Rider-Waite, which is real bright colors on it.
Mhm.
You need just make sure you have a Rider-Waite deck.
yes. Now it just helps you. Now, if you have like me and you got 88 different types, that's fine too, just as long as you know how to follow along. This one I get, it's got really vibrant colors in it. You can get it from debride.com and use my discount code for the 20% off thing too, if you want. Okay. Anybody have any announcements? Jen, you got anything coming up?
Sunday night on my channel, back from Sedona. Lucy apparently missed being on camera, so she's getting in every video.
Not to mention you were gone for 5 days, so it's
She's
she's leaving your side now.
she had to be here for your birthday.
Tony, what about you?
I have these on sale. And that's I'm gonna get back into it. I know I've been away for a long time doing videos on my channel, so I'm gonna get back this week to doing those single videos again. Now that I have a little bit more time on my hands, so that's what's going on for me.
What about you, Lori?
I have spoken to my web lady, and she is will be uploading our classes that we've been working on onto my website that people will be able to purchase, but everyone that's already in class will be able to get into them to see them again, in case you didn't request one video or what have you. And other than that, I'm just trying to get back to my normal schedule. And we'll be doing one video with Denise next from Spiritual Growth Room next week. So that's it.
Well, not trying to apply the pressure just yet, but when you finish this class, do you plan to do more? For those who couldn't get in this first time around?
Yes. When yours finishes, then I'll start
Another.
Mhm.
Okay. So y'all be on the lookout. Okay. So we'll start.
Let's go.
So we'll start with Jen and Lucy there too. And what things do you work with? And how did you find the path to work with them? Like tarot, angels, that thing.
I've always had a very strong relationship with angels. I think my earliest memory is I was about 4 years old. I had climbed to the top of a tree and was swaying in the wind and singing with the angels, and have always had a strong affinity for Raphael, which, raised Southern Baptist, you didn't hear about Archangel Raphael. It just came to me. I have a very close connection. Raphael is the archangel of healing. So it kind of made sense when I got my first psychic reading at 19 and he told me I was a healer. He's like, you're a healer, you're a teacher, you're a psychic, you're a medium, all this stuff. But I was 19. I didn't know what to do with it. And I had to do my own self-healing before I got into it. But I started reading tarot cards when I was 19. It shifted after I learned healing energy work and opened up the clairaudience and everything. So I do past life regressions, mediumship. I just got into taking a lot of seminars when I was younger and tried everything, shamanic journeying, everything, and stuck with what resonated with me and let go of what didn't. I enjoyed that, and I had a lot of different people I mentored under, like Brian Weiss. I did past life regression with James Van Prague. I took mediumship classes with, and still do. The last mediumship class I took with him was in 2015, so not that long ago. After I moved up here, I was like, I haven't taken a class with James in a while. I like a refresher course. And I thought, I'll see if he's in the Chicago area. Well, he not only came to Chicago, he came to my town I was living in, west of Chicago. So I was like, okay, meant to be. I have to go see James again.
Tony, what do you work with? And how did you find that path? Oh, you're muted.
My origin story, I just sort of fell into it. I was at the post office and a guy who was working there behind the counter just started asking me questions about, sweat lodges and stuff like that. And I didn't know anything about any of it. But when I moved, it sort of planted the seed, and I had been seeing this picture of a flaming bird everywhere. I had been seeing the phoenix everywhere. So when I finally moved to LA, to California, that's when I started doing sweat lodges and things like that, going out on shamanic journeying and going out into the desert to sort of do my ceremonies and stuff. And so just that's when I really sort of felt as if I had a connection with spirit, that I had something going on. I didn't know exactly what. And I'm still, I'm still working through it day by day, going, oh, well, what works, what doesn't work, what really sort of resonates with me, sort of the tarot resonates with me, but not in like I take classes on a regular basis, and But I think the oracle cards are something that I sort of resonate with more, because they are more, they're not as regimented and more, I guess, sort of open to interpretation that is not necessarily what you would get in the tarot. So, so that's what I work with. And you see my medicine wheel, I work with that. And so everything that I do is sort of grounded in shamanic training. And that's where I work from.
Lori, what do you work with? How did you find that path?
First of all, I have to tell you that Tony, the first sweat lodge I went to, they brought the elders in, the big stones, and it was high. And I was at my store because I owned a big metaphysical store in here in Cape Coral, Florida. And no one told me not to wear makeup. No one told me not to wear hairspray. Don't wear makeup. Don't wear jeans. No one told me this. No one told me. I go in the tent. I'm sitting there with everybody, like with almost no clothes on. And they tell you what to say. And I'm like, they brought the elders in. I'm like, all my relations, I am out. I crawled under the tent. I didn't even go to the front. I just lifted the thing up. I'm out. I'm out of this fresh hell. I'm sorry. I just was like, and I had hairspray. I had mascara in my eyes. My eyes were burning. I couldn't see where I
You
was
were melting.
going. It was hell. Hell. So just to help people understand, please don't ever go to a sweat lodge fully dressed with makeup on and hairspray. Don't do it.
No, you don't want to do that.
Because you're going to sweat to death, probably, in there, first of all. That's not comfortable.
You got like 4 rounds to go, right?
I didn't make it. No, I was screaming all my relations. I don't know how many. Maybe I counted 16 seconds. I don't know. My eyes were burning. I'm telling you, I'm feeling for the edge of the tent. I'm like, I'm crawling out of this thing. I don't care. It's terrible. It's awful. I did go again. It was a very nice experience, but that was a no-no. Okay,
it's so hot in there.
My story of hell. And I do have relations in hell. Anyway, so I first started with dreams. I had a good connection to the angels, like Jen did. My parents didn't drag me to church, so I was very, very, very inquisitive and went to church with all my friends, whatever kind. If they went to temple, I went to temple. If they were Buddhists, I went to, their temple. So it was just one of those things where I had dreams and bits and pieces were happening. And it was happening all the way through. I shut it down when I was, like 9. And then it started happening again, like when I was like 17, 18, 19. And nobody in my family could explain to me what was happening. And I said, okay, if I tell everyone what I dreamed, then it won't happen, right? Because they'll think I'm bizarre. And then since that didn't work, then I thought, okay, if I don't tell anybody, then it won't happen. And then that didn't happen either. So then I realized whether I told or not, it was going to happen. And so nobody could explain to me. So I just, we didn't have a Googler, of course. So I looked in the telephone book for any kind of bookstore or, I don't even know what I researched anyway, at the woo-woo store. And so I went to the woo-woo store and I met my first mentor, Mary Alice Warren, who just passed away, just a couple of months ago. Anyway, I ended up managing that store 50,000 years later. But she's the one that helped me understand why I was seeing the future in my dreams. And then after I got into her store, I just went over this way and played with this. And then I went over this way and played with that. And I read every book I could get my hands on everything.
I did the same thing. I read so many metaphysical books on Buddhism and Hinduism. And, of course, I was traveling in retail to countries with different religions. And I just got into all these different religions and started seeing all the similarity between a lot of religions. I also got into automatic writing when I was like mid-20s. When the student's ready, the teacher appears and the synchronicity appears. I had a fiction book I was reading that mentioned that his wife tried automatic writing, and I put the book down, went over, and started trying automatic writing, and got my guide, and got more angels, writing with me and stuff. So Lucy says she works with ribbons and mice.
Yeah, and that's what I meant, like in the store. Like I went over to the tarot section, then the runes or I Ching, or automatic writing. I tried everything that was in the store. It was so much fun.
For me, thank you, Jody. Thank you, Buddha Lion. And thank you, More Paper, please, for the super chat. For me, I mean, you know what I like. And these were probably in the womb with my mother, and they just didn't come out with me.
Along with your petty boots.
For whatever reason, these just didn't come out with me. But yeah, this is what I work with. This is what I like. I like them a lot. Y'all gave me an Amazon gift card out there. A few of you did, and guess what I bought? So it's just. That's what I like. I like the variety. I like them all, that type of thing. And yeah, that's it. That's the beginning and end of that story. So I'll start with you, Lori. How do you navigate, or how did you navigate divination in your family?
Oh, they knew I was having the dreams. We'd been through the denial thing when my dog got hit by a car. We'd been through it all. They knew everything. I dreamed we got into a car accident, and then we were on the way to the doctor's office. And I told them that morning I dreamed we got into a car accident, and the fire department was burning a structure, and the people behind us just flew right into the back. I mean, they already knew I was cray. I didn't have to explain anything to any. They're like, oh, okay, interesting. Yeah.
Tony, what about you? How did you navigate it with those around you?
I don't know that I navigated it very well because I didn't know what was going on, right? The first time I saw an entity, it was an old lady in my backyard. And of course I ran up to tell my mother. And when we came back down, the woman was gone, but I developed a nickname, and the nickname was Space Cadet. They were not feeling me at all because this was of the devil. What are you talking about? Don't say stuff like that. So I sort of kept all that stuff to myself, and my inner circle, they all know what I do and they support me, and anything beyond that circle falls off.
What about you, Jen?
Well, my sister was the most open to like psychics and stuff. She had some of her own psychic experiences, which she later kind of shut down, but she didn't accept it in anybody else. So she didn't accept it in me. I would tell her about learning healing energy work and opening my mediumship and automatic writing and stuff. And it's almost like she kind of poo-pooed it, like she didn't believe it. And I'm really close to my sister. But it's like she struggled accepting it in a sibling or something. She just, in the last 2 years, has begun to accept it. So she'll, now that I read full-time for a living, she'll ask me like, well, are you staying booked up, or how are the personal readings going? She'll ask a little bit, which shows she's opening up a little bit more to, this is who I am. I have a brother that's 1 year older than me, that when I was in my 40s, I don't remember exactly when, I was at my other brother's house, and we were sitting on the sofa talking, and I told him about healing energy work, which is my first love, and it's the big thing that really opened me up. And I told him I did healing energy work, and he giggled in a sort of uncomfortable way, but he didn't diss it. It wasn't like giggling like he's laughing at me and dismissing it. He giggled in a sort of like, well, that's interesting, like he didn't know what to say. So I don't think he disbelieved, but he wasn't going to go all in with it. And they
Probably
still,
would
it's
think.
like, she's the weird one. And he's, both my brothers are Republicans. So they're like, she's the Democrat and she's the weird one. And they just don't get into it too much.
My brother has never been Christian. He's more of a deist. There's something there, don't know what. I'm fine with not knowing what. And, I believe the universe, that sort of encompassing energy type thing. My sister is Christian, so much so that that's actually her name. And so they had a conversation. She's never talked to me about it because I don't know, maybe the conversation might be weird or awkward or something like that. But me and her talked about religion, because we went to the same church and so forth and so forth. And I am still a preacher, just not a Christian. So it's different. And so she has been raised like we all kind of were, that in the Christian ideology that this is evil. But not so much, evil. Just call a thing. They believe it's evil. And so my nieces all know because they know I have a YouTube channel. They don't do it, but they all know. And my sister knows they don't ever talk about it because it's like one of them things. He robs banks on the weekends. We just don't talk about it, But it's not a thing where, people are sending me that I'm going to pray for you emails or nothing like that. Now, the rest of the family, I've never been, don't call me. So I don't talk to my aunts and my cousins, and I don't know them in like that. And not that I hate them or just don't want to talk. I just don't,
There's some, like they're not going to accept it and you just don't even bring it up.
I mean, because it's just, I don't care.
Because some people, they can't separate religion from spirituality, and it's two kind of different things. And they think it's one and the same. And it's like, you can be a Christian and be very spiritual.
So this is leading to my next question. I'll start with you, Tony. Do you feel defensive of divination or spiritual work? Like if a person is sitting next to you and they're like crapping all over it, do you feel a need to correct them or interject, or is it just that's their opinion, keep it moving?
There was a time when I would probably, have, feelings about it. But now that I'm older, it's like, you believe what you believe. I believe what I believe. We can get along if we don't really try to make each other wrong. And we can, we can get along and move through this life without that kind of, back and forth. Because I just don't, it's just not important to me that I convince you of something. If you believe it or if you are open to it, then I will talk to you about it, but I'm not going to try to convince you or sway you in any way. I will let you come to your opening up and your evolution on your own, in your own good time. And that is called allowing. So I allow you to be who you are. You allow me to be who I am.
Yeah. Okay. Lori, what about you? Do you feel defensive when it comes to our line of work?
Well, I agree with everything that Tony just said. I was at I have to tell you a funny story really fast.
Go for it.
When I divorced the father of my children, who was at our big birthday party for our granddaughter, so we all get along. But at the time of the divorce, I belonged to church, but I was doing readings and everything. And so they just wanted to be mean. And so they got an attorney and they wanted to come in my house and they got this big camcorder, because at that time they were like 2 feet long, and they video cammed all of my books, my decks, my everything, right? They paid, I don't know how much money to do this. They got it back. They put it in my brother-in-law's VCR and it burnt the tape. It was just like eaten. And so like they
Did you put a spell on that, Lori?
I can't even believe that happened. I thought when the person told me that, I was like, "You're kidding." What? I was like, what? It's so true. But so yeah, they think I'm weird. My daughter-in-law's at the party. My daughter-in-law's dad, someone asked a question like something to him about me, and he said, I don't know, you'll have to ask her that question. So it's okay, you know.
Because I don't want to be burnt up.
Thou shalt not touch my anointing. Whether
So I don't really, the only other thing, like we were talking the other day, remember about, you know, I like to try different churches.
Mm-hmm.
And I never know if I'm going to run into somebody that I've read for because I've been reading in these tri-counties for so long. So I'm just always like, hoping nobody sees me. But I know what happens. But thank God in heaven, I have not come into any confrontation. Nobody threw a cross at me or holy water or anything like that. So,
What about you, Jim?
You know, I'm an Aries. So if somebody starts like trying to push my buttons, I love to push their buttons right back. So I dated an atheist for a while. I dated him longer than I should have because I enjoyed pushing his buttons. I used to work very closely with a designer that was a fundamentalist Christian. And he used to always tell me when we traveled together and stuff that he worried about my soul and stuff. And you know, to all my metaphysic words like karma and stuff. I said, well, you read the Bible, John 3:16, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. That's karma. I said, what do you think Jesus is trying to teach you? It's like they still, you know, like you can't be a Christian and talk about karma. Bull. So I just, you know, I'll discuss it with them, but you know, I will also open their eyes a little bit to what it means to be spiritual.
When I was younger, I was, because I was Christian. And so when people would say horrible things like God is dead and all this type of stuff, I felt like I needed to defend because that just sounded beyond ridiculous to me. And that life is a coincidence and all these. When I was younger, yes. And then when I got into high school, every single friend I had was atheist. And I had zero desire to convert them because it wasn't necessary. And maybe that was my lesson learned early, because when I actually got cards and got into a community, if you will, not really, because I was the only person who knew them, but you know, when I became more pagan than Christian, then it's like there's no need. And even the book, Josephine Ellershaw, who wrote the book, even in her book, she wrote, don't get into arguments with people trying to defend tarot. If they don't want to understand, they don't have to. You're the one using it, not them. And so it just taught me early on that trying to defend what you do is not necessary, because I'm not out, you know, selling cocaine to children on a school ground somewhere. So it's, you know, I'm not doing something that is harmful to nobody else. I could, but
you can't change how someone else reacts. You can only change how you react. So, you know, like this guy I was talking about would say, well, why are you working with angels? You're supposed to go directly to Jesus Christ. And I would pull up on the internet, you know, there's like King James Bible websites where you can plug in a word and it'll tell you like every verse it's mentioned in. And angels are mentioned over 2,000 times in the Bible. And I'm like, okay, so what's wrong with this? You know, it's in your Bible that you cling to and
that you defend
that you
at
defend,
any cost.
You know, so I would flip it on them in a way, but I didn't try to change him other than just kind of open his eyes a little bit.
So to switch gears a little bit, we have all been doing what we do for, you know, at least a certain period of time. That's decent enough to call ourselves at least a little bit good at what we do. The example because the question is it hard to incorporate? So the example I have, I'm taking Lori's class. I've been reading cards for like 17 years. That doesn't mean, like I've said before, just because a person's been doing a thing a long time does not mean they've been doing it right a long time.
That's it.
So I've not been reading professionally for 17 years. I've just been reading for that long. And I have right now sort of incorporated a way to read the cards that works for me. And so I like, though, learning new things. And so in Lori's class, like I teach the tarot, I teach the symbolism on the Empress, and yet I learned something new. I learned something new on the Magician, quantum magician. I've never heard that word before, and it came to me in her class. And so now it opens up the Magician in a way it has not before. But here, like all the knights here, they're doing something. This one's planning, that's the worker. This one's reacting, this one's taking control. This one talks. And so I named this one the False Knight. So you may have heard that on several other channels and things of that nature. And what I want to know is, for you here, I'll start with you, Jen. Is it difficult to incorporate new info into your readings now that you've been doing it so long? Because are you sort of boxed in to where nothing really penetrates anymore?
Not at all. I find tarot is evolving all the time. Starting political readings, cards just start showing up for me for money laundering, dark money, quid pro quo, because those kind of things don't come up that often in personal readings. But they start showing up, and like the Fool for Trump. You start to realize, what's showing up for you that way, and it changes. Reading with Becca, reading Lenormand, Johnny, you and I talked about it. Like it's shifting subtly sometimes how I read tarot. Learning healing energy work shifted how I read tarot. So it's always evolving. It's always changing. Like you have your basic card meanings, but I have cards that'll show up for, there's not a divorce card. I have a divorce card. Things are always shifting and moving, and it flows. It's energy, because it's working with the energy. So you have to stay open to that.
What about you, Lori?
I was just looking to see if I brought my book in. Am I echoing?
Say something else.
Am I echoing? Do you hear?
Not
an
anymore.
echo? Okay.
No.
I always read new books. I'm a big bookworm, so I'm always, I learn from all of you. If something really resonates with me, with something rings true for what another reader says, and I start learning that. But I'm always picking up. I just ordered a book from an old deck, and the book's out of print. The deck's out of print. The Norse Tarot that I had forgotten about until recently during class. We were talking about it, and I just got it. Thrift Books just delivered it to me this morning, so I took it with me to get my hair done. So I'm learning all the time. So I love learning. I love watching other readers. I love those aha moments. I can't wait to learn another one.
What about you, Tony?
Well, this card was a card that I was, reading a certain way. And then I saw Lori read it. And I was like, and she said, and this guy got up in the morning and he didn't prepare. So you can see that he has two different kinds of shoes on. And I was like, oh, what? You blew my mind. I was like, yes, that really, really says it all. So yeah, I'm always learning. I'm always open to learning, and I just love discovering new things. And when someone sort of opens up my mind like that, I go, wow, what are the possibilities for this card in my life?
I'm like Lori. I read a lot, so it's not just tarot. It's anything. If I, read a book, I love to read. If I read a book that just opens me up to other possibilities, I'm like, wow, I really, am getting into this book. Greg Braden is somebody that comes to mind. I love to read his books. Love to listen to him on YouTube. A lot of things he says, it may not be 100%, but a lot of things he says resonates with me. So shifts something in me a little bit. You know, when somebody says something that it's like, ooh, yeah.
I like information, so I eat it up. I don't care what it is, especially if it has something to do with this. That's why I don't know why it took Lori so long to understand that I was very serious about taking her class. She really wanted to take my class. Are you really serious? I'm like, yes, I am. Because I like to, I'm not a book person. Don't give me a book. It is hard for me to read books because my mind starts wandering down the street telling its own story in the middle of a sentence. But when a person speaks and I'm interested in what they're saying, I got it. I'm there. I'm glued. I'm focused. I was watching a video. You know, helium makes your voice higher if you swallow it because of all the blah, blah, blah. So there's another one that makes your voice deeper, sodium hexafluoride. And I'm like, huh, I'm interested. So I went down the rabbit hole. I watched a video and then I just started reading all this stuff. Am I ever in my life going to encounter sodium hexafluoride? Probably not. But at the same time, I want to know it, and I'm glad you taught me because now I know it, and I just told all of y'all. So, so when it comes to this, like Lori's uh, explanation on the magician, taking what is unseen and making it seen. That's the magician. That's what magicians do. But it clicked differently when I heard the word quantum physics, and I'm like, of course, quantum magician. So I named him Quantum Magician because that's what he can do. And so that makes it easier. It clicks for me. And so yes, I want all the info. Even if you don't know what you're talking about, I still want to know because now I know what not to do.
You know, Johnny, you're the reader I've read with the longest from YouTube. And that shifts a little bit how I read. And yeah, we've had a lot of this. Like I know like your card for dark money, and then it starts showing up for me for dark money. Like there's you know, your false knight. I got it. Yeah, when someone resonates with you and you respect their style of reading, and then you're reading with them, yeah, it starts to rub off a little bit. You can't help it because it's all energy and you're hanging out with them all the time. It
Yeah,
starts
and we all lift each other up. We sort of, get in the boat and then we just start rowing, and we all sort of, if the boat takes on a little water, everybody gets a bucket and starts to go.
It's like picking up Johnnyisms. I never said "Lord have all the mercy" before. But hang out with you long enough, I'm going to be saying "Lord have all," or I mean.
Yeah, I say it all the time now.
Yeah, it's that kind of influence even on the tarot. Now, if I watch, I'll call him a green reader, like somebody new, they don't influence me at all.
That leads me to my next question. Thank you, Kotos. I'll start with you, Jen. Can you watch a reading without being critical? Not to the person, because I've never seen any of us go into a person's chat and say something.
But in my mind.
But just in your head, can you watch it without being critical?
With you guys, absolutely. If it's a reader I respect, with like Becca and Adrian, Linda G, whether it's a reading tarot or using just your intuitive gifts and mediumship and things, yes. But if I am watching somebody screen, it will drive me nuts. And in my head, I'm like, get off YouTube. until you get the hang of it, go practice. How I read when I was 19 and practicing with friends, I would never have charged anybody for anything. I was green and I was getting the hang of it and how the cards fit together and everything. And that takes time and it takes practice. And when you're ready to do it professionally, to go out and actually charge for it. If I see somebody that drives me batty, oh yeah, I'm like in my head, I get critical and I have to, I can't watch. I can't watch the video.
What about you, Lori?
What is going on with my sound?
It does that when you first start talking and then it goes away.
Okay.
Becca's saying my cat ears fit my cattiness.
I can watch it. I like to watch a lot of other readers. I like to try new things. I'm really open to new things. But if somebody just has a different viewpoint on a card or something like that, I can do that. But if there are like 5 cards, then I'm scratching my head because I've studied so many different books. Those books are my, the older the book, the more favorite of mine it is. But I'm still finding new old books, and I love new writers. I love that Melissa Sanova book that I devoured that in a day. I think I read it in one day. So I love to hear their interpretations. The only time I get irritated if somebody just goes on and on and on and on and it doesn't make it's like nothing I've even then it's off. I can't do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jill. What about you, Tony?
I don't. I mean, of course, I have petty moments. I have petty moments, but I try not to. I really try to catch myself because, I make mistakes. I'm not like without errors in my readings or anything. So I try to give people the space to I don't know if they should be doing readings professionally at that point, and that's probably where I would have a judgment. But if you're just starting out, then I cut you a little slack because yeah,
We've all been there, just starting out. I just wouldn't start a YouTube channel if I'm just starting out.
I can watch
about it.
a reading, but not without being critical. I can watch a reading with the person where I know they know what they're doing. I can watch y'all. I can watch Adrian. I can watch Miss and Joy, who's in the chat. I can watch the people, especially people I've gotten readings from. Like, this may not be the same thing to you, but I know you're still on the right track because of what you just told me. But when it seems like you read tarot like oracle cards, then I get, where are we going with this? And when you get to the end of it, or if you're reading, it sounds like you didn't put it all together because maybe you don't know how. It's not the easiest thing to do. Putting 2 cards together is hard, let alone 10. So I get it, but I can't watch it without being critical. I, of course, would never in 1,000 years say anything to you because that's your reading. It's your cards, your guides. I got nothing to do with me. But I can't even pretend like I can, but because I can't. Because it's just it seems like you're going off the deep end with some things, but like for y'all and Lena and them type of people, I trust what you say. Even if I don't get the same thing, I don't doubt your reading skills. It's just
you can tell when somebody knows what they're doing because they have a good grasp of all of the imagery on the card. And that's the most important thing, is if you know what the water means, you know what the trees mean, you know what the sky means, you know what the mountains mean, all of those things, every inch of that card, every symbol on that card has a meaning. And it's up to you to take all of that information and then put it into a thought form that your guides are sort of translating through you.
And I can give you the benefit on that one, because if you didn't take the highway, you took the side streets, because you don't know everything that's in there. As long as you got the same conclusion, you got to the same spot, you just took a different route. Okay. I can't even pretend like I can watch it and not think, what are you saying? What are you talking about? What does that mean? Oh, you're really good even. But
every deck comes with a little book with it, right? Every deck.
That book is trash.
Johnny and I were talking about this. There'll be different meanings depending on what deck it is and what the book says. Like, they have a little different interpretation.
Arthur Waite was pretty good at what he did, right? But he was a bit of a drunkard when it came to this here. And I explained this in the class. This in his book is loss and theft. This is what he translated the star to mean.
What?
So it's loss and theft. In the Arthur E. Waite Pictorial Guide to the Rider-Waite, this is loss and theft.
Now Lori's gonna go look up her book.
That little white book that comes with probably with this one too, with your tarot deck. If it's something about Arthur Waite, yeah, you have it. Read the description for the star for us, please, Jen.
Let me find it.
That book is trash. Don't read that.
Number 17, the star. Loss, theft, privation, abandonment. Although another reading says hope and bright prospects. It's like complete opposite.
Did they just turn it around? Is that a typo?
The original translation
Reversed,
in 1781.
Reversed is
Yes.
arrogance, haughtiness, and impotence. So
I
loss
don't
and
see
theft
that at
isn't
all.
even the reverse meaning of it. He's saying when it's upright, it's loss and theft,
Yes.
which does not resonate with me at all.
Nobody. He thought that. I don't know where he got that from, but in 1781, when the was originally translated by Court de Gebelin, whatever his name was, he said it's hope and inspiration, and Arthur E. Waite changed it to loss and theft, and then the world adopted the hope and inspiration. That's why it means what it means today.
So is
But-
that naked lady right there? Did she steal that water in those
I'm
jugs?
thinking somebody stole her clothes, and that's maybe what he was talking about. I don't.
The image doesn't even speak of loss. This speaks to loss, right?
Yeah.
It's
Well,
like
maybe
the image
he-
doesn't even speak.
Maybe he looked at his naked body at his age and thought there was loss and
Maybe
theft.
he looked at the bottom of that bottle and said, "Where did it all go?"
Maybe
That's
he had monkeypox.
Maybe he had too much Mountain Dew.
Good one, Lori.
Well, speaking of which, though, not that exactly, but one piece of advice, since we're talking about the Rider-Waite in that trash book. Yes, the Seven of Swords is theft, but speaking of that trash book, what is one piece of advice? We'll start with you, Lori, that you would give to a beginner reader or spiritual worker to avoid. Avoid this, avoid that. What is one thing you would tell a beginning, especially since we're both teaching tarots to people? What is something you would tell them? Avoid this.
Avoid rules. Just keep
I like
learning.
that.
There's no set. If you decide that the star card means you look at your body and you think theft and loss and Mountain Dew, then that's what it means to you. You know, you have an agreement with your guides that this card means this, and just go with that because that's what they're going to show you. So, no
They'd
rules.
be wrong.
Tony, what about you? What should they avoid, do you think?
What should they avoid? Expectation, expecting a certain outcome and being disappointed, or whatever, disappointed, happy, whatever, but just keep your expectation out of the readings and allow yourself to just be a conduit, because your expectation clouds what is there because you're expecting a certain outcome. So that's what I would say. Just don't expect. Expectation, put it to the side, leave it at the door, check it with your coat, all of that.
What about you, Jen?
I learned how to play violin in 4th grade. I wouldn't get on a stage and play in front of people for quite some time because who wanted to hear Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, right? Avoid putting yourself out there in public and charging for it until you have practiced and practiced and practiced with it. Because, when you first start learning to read, you're pulling out the book and looking up every card and you're not seeing the relationship between them. And you have to get the hang of that. When you start seeing how they flow together in the story they tell you, practice on your friends until you've got the hang of that before you put yourself out there.
I agree with all of that.
Gives the rest of us a bad name,
I say one thing to avoid. If I had to give you one piece of advice, don't let nobody tell you what to do. Because the one thing I find that's a thread between people who just start tarot is they heard something from somewhere. I heard somebody has to buy your deck for you. Okay, if that would have been me, nobody would have ever bought it, and I wouldn't have had 300. But nobody would ever bought it right from me because who around me was reading tarot? Nobody. I heard that you can't shuffle your deck one way. You can shuffle it however you want to. You can throw them up in the air and try to catch it if you want to. They're your cards. I heard that you have to wrap them in this, and I heard you have to put them in that, and I heard you have to set them in the windowsill, and I heard you have to pass them through this. And
Rituals.
they're like Lori said, there are no hard, fast rules. What is this to you? That's it. Start there and then build your own relationship with this. This ain't got nothing to do with nobody else but you. Period. Don't let nobody tell you what to do with your own stuff. You bought it, it's yours. Go for it. So, what I want to say now, I'll start with you, Tony, since you have a couple of these. Do titles in the spiritual community bother you at all? Like Master Psychic or Master Reiki or thank you, Selma. Thank you, Asia. Does Reiki Master, not Master Reiki, does any of those bother you at all?
Let's
Titles
see.
in the spiritual community.
It doesn't bother me necessarily. It only bothers me if people are charging me to give me that title, right? It's like I have a problem with that. I don't need to pay $4, $5, $6, $1,000 so that you can give me a title. If I can, I do all the work and everything. I don't know.
You earn it.
I mean, it's just like, yes, I am a Reiki master, but it's just a title. It doesn't really tell you exactly, because a lot of people don't know what Reiki is anyway, but it doesn't tell you what I can do. I have to show you what I can do. And, and then you can say whether that title is warranted or not, but it's not up to me. So you can take whatever title you want, I think. I don't care.
Lori, what about you? Do titles in the spiritual community bother you?
I totally understand where Tony's coming from. I do think if you teach a class, if you're teaching Reiki 1, 2, 3, or master teacher class, that it's okay to charge money, because I believe in exchange.
Mm-hmm.
And then you do get a certificate, so if you go to college, you get a degree. If you go to divinity school, you get, so certain degrees are apropos, I think, but some mystery schools, I'm like, what? I don't know, so some people invent some things that I try to look for and I can't ever find it. So, so there are some foo-foo names out there, but if you want to call yourself, I don't know. I don't know. I don't think it really matters. It sort of gets weird, but I don't tell anybody they're not this or that, but that's it.
What about you, Jen?
I ignore titles. It's, and I get it, like with Reiki, because there's different levels. So it's a way of, maybe your client's understanding how far you've progressed with Reiki or whatever. I'm certified in nothing. It was interesting because when I created my first business card, I was like, all these people that I had met with, maybe worked with at some time, had all these certifications. I was like, I have no certifications for my business card, but it didn't matter. I do my own hybrid form of energy healing. I think it's quite powerful. I enjoy doing it the way my guides have taught me. And I was just teaching this in Sedona. And when it impacts, a group, when I'm teaching them, and I had like Reiki practitioners in there, certified Reiki practitioners. I'm like, I don't think you have to be certified in anything. I don't think you have to have a title. I think you just have to embrace your gifts and go with it and put it out there.
I don't have a problem with titles, especially when you work for them. The only one I have a problem with is Master Psychic. That's
such a thing?
whatever.
There is such a thing?
Yes, to be fair. To me, it's under the skin and it pokes out too. Because to me, this is open-ended and you cannot master this. Not just this, but your psychic gift. Because number one, you're still a human vessel. You're going to be wrong at some point. Number two, it shifts, it changes because things come in that did not come in before. You still learn. I don't care who you are. You could be John Edwards, the master medium. Something's going to change. Something's going to shift because people shift, energy shift, that shifts. You shift. You get older, you get wiser, you get dumber, whatever it is that you get, but something changes. You don't master psychic gifts if you ask me, but that's just me. Now, you can be very good at it to where you can be experts or something at it, but just master psychic just sounds like you're done. That's what it sounds like to me.
It sounds like you're not open to change and growth.
It's the wording, and that's the reason why I asked for it. But you could be extremely efficient, proficient in what it is you're doing. I just feel like if you say I've mastered this, that means you're done. And I just don't think so. But I'm not your guide, so maybe they're done teaching you stuff. Thank you, Joanne. So I will shift gears. Go ahead.
One last comment. Yeah, I've been doing healing energy work over 35 years, and I was teaching it last week in Sedona, and my guides are teaching me something new as I'm teaching. It's like you have to stay open to change and open to learning, and they'll just keep bringing it. I hope I'm still learning in my 90s. We're never done.
Mm-hmm. So I'll start with you, Jen. As a person on YouTube, as we all are, do you feel pressured to make content?
No. Hence why I used to do a video a day and that was 3 times a week. And now it's like, Sunday nights. Sounds like coffee once a month. No, because I'm so busy the rest of the week. I see people writing like, I miss your solo videos and stuff, but it's like I have a life. I have work that I'm doing outside of YouTube, so I get to it when I can get to it, and when I'm inspired to do something or to go live. And if I don't, I don't.
What about you, Lori?
I do, because I have a schedule now. Tuesdays and Fridays, and so but I enjoy that. And I'm doing readings every single day. I'm a grandma. I'm a mom. I have some crazy stuff going on. I've got sick Labradors, 2-year-old birthday parties, crazy stuff going on. But I love it. I absolutely love it. But I don't feel pressured, but I do have a schedule, and I love being there, and I'm so grateful when they show up. I'm just my Tarot family. I just love them so much.
What about you, Tony?
I think it comes and goes sometimes because of when I was doing the cards and my website at the same time. It was like, oh my God, I can't fit anything else into this head right now, even though it's huge. There's nothing else going in. So that's when I have, special projects that I'm doing. That's when I feel a little pressure, but otherwise it's so much fun to do. And it's so much fun to, it really sort of keeps my mind engaged, and I feel as if I'm using my skills for a reason and not just hanging around. I'm just, it gives me a purpose, and I love that. I love it.
I think that's as long as you're enjoying. Like Lori is very disciplined and very regular with what she puts out there. I just when I worked in the corporate world, I started out working like 65-hour work weeks and realized suddenly I didn't have time for friends or anything, and I went down into a 40-hour work week and taught myself to enjoy life a little bit outside and stuff. So I enjoy it when I do get on. So when I get on, I'm having fun with it, but I don't feel pressure to like get on there.
Um, Thank you, Patty. No, I don't feel pressured. I feel though like I don't want to say I need to do it, but I want to do it.
Yeah.
Because I read on goofy stuff. I sometimes, and I read on politics, but you'll catch me. I'll do a reading on soda cans next time or something. I do off the wall stuff because my curiosity runs wild, and so I'm like, oh, I wonder. So record the video, put it on thing. Two people might watch it. I don't really care. It did it for me because I'm sitting here with the cards in the camera anyway, so I might as well let you see. So it's one of them things to where I like doing it. For those who don't know, though, I do them all in one day. They're pre-recorded and they're scheduled to release. So I don't read every day and then post a video. So it's a little different for me because last month I counted. I did 91 readings last month.
Wow.
And so not for YouTube, but just period, 91 readings. And so that's why I have so many cards. They all get used. But I did 91 readings and I like doing it. So it's not a pressure. It's a privilege, I would say, even because, it's fun for me.
I can tell you enjoy it. I can tell
I
you
do.
enjoy it.
I really do. And I got new cards coming and I'm going to just find reading an excuse to do one like this. So that does piggyback on my next question. Does divination and the spiritual work world, I'll start with you, Tony. Does divination and the spiritual work world leave you feeling isolated when nobody else around you does the same thing? Oh, you're muted.
I don't think so because I'm kind of a loner anyway. I'm kind of like I don't really have a problem being alone. I kind of treasure my alone time. So I don't, and I've always sort of been an outsider in a way. I mean, I told you about the space cadet thing. That sort of put me in a different category than all of my cousins and, and sister and all that. They sort of put baby in a corner. So I just put a couch and a chair and a table in that corner, and I'm, give me a little screen of that I can see my videos on, and I'm happy. I don't feel isolated at all. I feel liberated, especially being on YouTube. I feel like I can, now I can share who I am, without a whole lot of judgment. So yeah, I don't feel that pressure to be around people for that.
I put a poll in the chat if y'all want to take that poll too. Jen, what about you? Does it ever leave you feeling isolated?
I'm like Tony. I like my downtime. I'm very comfortable by myself and need my downtime. But when I'm ready to get out there with people, whether it's on YouTube or out in a public place, I am out there. So I put it out there, what I do. I can't control how somebody reacts to that. So take it or leave it, love or leave it. This is me.
What about, Lori, now you have people around you that, like you said, you and your friend were doing the Lenormand cards at the beach. So do you ever feel isolated that not a lot of people around you do the same thing?
Well, she came to visit from Indiana.
Okay.
And I met her. We became friends through YouTube. So YouTube really saved me as far as the pandemic. I'm pretty sure I might have had a little bit of depression had I not started my YouTube channel in my office building before, because I was really one of the only ones that left the office building, and because of the beliefs that I had and the readings that I was getting, everyone was getting the tower card, and I already feel in Florida being the blue dot, in the red. So there is, that's part of the reasons why I go walk the beach, because I don't have to cross streets and I can let everything go there. I know I'm different. I realize, I know I am. So sometimes it can get a little sometimes it can get a little different. So YouTube really saved me. And I'm glad that I read, every day, well, 6 days a week. And that saves me too. So, but without YouTube through that pandemic, that might have been a sketchy area. That would have been a lot harder. Yeah.
Thank you, Chicky. For me, I would say yes and no, because no, I can just always go live and there's at least two people that'll show up and that's over. But at the same time, there's nobody around me directly that does this. And so it would be nice to like read cards with another person face to face type thing from time to time. And so somewhat isolation, because nobody I know in my personal life does tarot, oracle cards. Thank you, Asia. Crystals, they don't read tea leaves, clouds, nothing. So it's like I can't even have a divinatory conversation with nobody. It's just,
I'm very blessed with close friends who accept what I do, that encourage me, accept what I do. And I think, my family, I kind of created my own little family. So I think it's very important to have some sort of support, no matter what you do in life, whether you're a reader or whether you're working in the corporate world, you have to have your own circle of support around you and other people that you support when they're going through something.
And I still do fairs. Like I read at Karma and Coconuts and Mystical Moon when they're doing something. But, COVID put a damper on all of that. But now I'm back at Karma, and I've done a couple.
And I'd like to do something like that. See, I don't have those type of, like, there's no metaphysical store or anything like that, even anywhere close to me.
Maybe
so
the next.
Yeah, we'll see. So what I want to know, and we'll start with you, Jen, because I won't throw the shade, even though Captain Pettyboots is my name. Right?
I'll get catty.
When you're seen as a spiritual person, how do you stand up for yourself? If someone is being egregious, if they're just being difficult.
If somebody thinks I'm not living up to their idea of what a spiritual person should be, like they want me to walk around a robe and go om all day, bull crap. If someone puts comments on my YouTube channel to that effect, blocked. I'm not going to engage with that kind of energy. So if someone is nasty, I'll read for someone that has healthy pessimism. I will do healing energy work on someone that has healthy pessimism, that's questioning things and not sure and everything. I love a healthy pessimism. But if somebody is like just nasty, I'm like, I'm not the reader for you. Why do I want to read for you? You've already said, I don't believe in this. This is awful and blah, 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 blah. Why'd you schedule a reading? Bye-bye. I just don't engage with that energy.
Lori, what about you?
So I thought we're defending. Does this mean you're reading for the person?
However, when you're just seen as a spiritual person, whatever happens, just because that person is looking at you as a light worker, as a love and light person, and they do something to offend or to be egregious or to be offensive towards you, how do you then stand up for yourself when you're seen as the light worker?
I don't anymore. I had a couple of big incidents with people who tried to make me believe that I was doing evil work. And it took my brother and several other people that I had read for to say, come on, Lori, you're helping people, you're saving lives, blah, blah, blah. But, you're definitely a light worker. But so I read the Bible. I had already read it once, but then I read it again, and then I read it again, and then I read it again. And I read about how the crystals were put into the high priest Aaron's breastplate and how they used the Urim and Thummim and how they used crystals, and the crystals were in Solomon's temple, and how the visions were there, and then God gave what's his face in jail the vision, and got Pharaoh, then he got to be the right hand man. And I started out with dreams. So after that so after I realized that these people were not even reading the Bible and had never read it, I stopped.
Thank you, No Name here, and thank you, Prairie. This made me laugh, so I have to share. Spiritual or not, I will cuss you out. I am spiritual, but I am still me. Triple fire signs, I'm letting you have it. I have been there for many of those occasions, Miss Enjoy, and I enjoyed every single bit of it. Because, mind you, Miss Enjoy may be triple fire sign, so she is going to let you have it. She never provokes you. It's like you came into her space and act like you had no home training, and then she showed you the door, but verbally.
That's true, whether it's about your spiritual self or somebody comes in your door and they criticize every piece of furniture you have. And it's like, I was brought up to, if you can't say something nice, say nothing at all. Shut your mouth. And so if somebody comes in and they're like criticizing everything about my home, I'm like, get out.
Yeah.
Here's the door.
Please and thank you. So what about you, Shining Hawk Healing?
Well, I've already run the gauntlet when I was a kid, because I lived with my uncle and aunt, who my uncle was, and my aunt. They're both very much in the church, and they had 10 kids. So it was like being, we were in a tribe. But because of when you're a kid, you're different, you are exposed to all of that, judgment and people putting things on you that you don't necessarily even understand, or you don't, why are you putting that on me? I don't have those feelings at all. They're putting their prejudices on you. So it's none of their business who you are. It's only your business who you are. And I think
Projection, just projection.
Yeah. It's just always having a circle of protection around you and knowing that they can't hurt you. Words can't hurt you. Their judgment can't really hurt you, so you let it, like water off a duck's back, you got to just let it flow over you and off, let that go, because you have that circle of protection. And, I always put it up at the beginning of the day. So I don't let many people in.
I think when you're like, for me, I was raised by two narcissists. I have learned how to set boundaries, so yeah, don't come into my space, and I didn't come into your space and get all belligerent with you. So
like Johnny said, don't tell me what to do.
Others is
Thank you, Stu Man. Me, I don't have the boundary set up because I kind of have the open door. Anybody can be my friend. I could be friends. No. If let's say, for instance, I didn't know who Ted Cruz was, I could sit down and have a conversation, as long as he ain't saying nothing stupid, don't say anything about politics. We can have a conversation about the weather. I'm a retail worker. I have 800 little small conversations all day with people of all different walks of life. Hi, how you doing? What about this weather? Oh my God, go Cowboys, whatever. It's like one of them things, you have these little bits of conversations. The same people come in and you're always friendly to them. They're friendly to you. They're your favorite person. You're their favorite person. We may be on completely different opposite ends of the spectrum, politically, religiously, blah, blah, blah. But we can be civil and get along. And so you can come into my space. It's when you act like you ain't got no sense. That's when it changes. Like just saying, Chris, do no harm, but take no crap. It's like, so I am fine as long as you are fine. And the moment you say something, I kind of,
the moment
Gemini's
you
real
know
quick
who you are in a kind of negative way. Yeah.
This part
You're
is
gonna
just
see-
fine. This is going to talk and be friendly. When you push the button for the other part, that's when all the seasoned words come out. And it's like, I don't start conversations with who are you and shaking the finger and wagging the neck and all this type of stuff. But if you take me there, be ready to have this conversation because I'm a Gemini and I ain't gonna stop talking until you walk away. So it's so I don't have any problem with standing up for myself when you come in my space. So because anybody can walk up, you be my friend all you want to, just don't say nothing stupid. Anyhow, so next question, shifting gears. There's 629 people watching. And
No
I will start with you, Jen. Does the number of people watching you on YouTube affect you in any way?
No. Once I got the hang of, working on camera, I used to speak to large groups in the corporate world. I would do presentations, so I got comfortable with that. When I first filmed my first video and flipped the camera on, I was like 75 times in my first video because I was like a deer in headlights in front of a camera. I was like, okay, how do I learn to talk on camera? And my friend Beth Cat said, pretend you're talking to me on Skype. Pretend you're just having a conversation with me. And that helped me so much to relax on camera. And now it's like, it doesn't matter if there's one in the chat or 2,000. It's fun seeing a lot of people. It's fun seeing a lot of the regulars, and people that you've read for, that come into the chat and stuff. But the actual number, like I'll notice on the holidays, like if we have a lower crowd than usual, like on Sunday night, it's like, oh, it's Mother's Day, everybody's out. I'll notice like when the numbers down a little bit, but it doesn't bother me, one way or the other. I'm not chasing a subscriber count.
What about you, Tony?
You will notice that I am totally oblivious to the chat usually. I just don't know how to separate that yet. It's like you and Adrian or Rebecca and you guys, all you guys, you have this ability to multitask in this whole thing, and I'm just not there yet. It could be one person in the chat, it could be like 1,000 people. I wouldn't know because all I see is just colors going by. I'm sorry, guys. I try, but but when I'm concentrating, I have to just focus, and I push everything else out of the circle at that point. So I'm sorry.
What about you, Lori?
There's usually a certain amount of people that come on that, on my Tuesdays and Friday lives. So I notice, like Jen said, if it's a holiday or I figure maybe, one of you guys is doing a video and they're not coming out to watch me because they're watching you. Oh. So I notice that way, but I don't let it get me. I mean, I don't let it rattle me or something like that. I'm so grateful for anytime. Sometimes there's been some slow starts. I'm like, oh my God, is anybody coming? Okay. I see 3 names. I'm like, yes, okay, we got 3 people. We're doing 3 people. All right.
Our Sacred Sounds of Coffee has a much smaller viewership when we go live, once a month than our Sunday night things. And but I'm so appreciative of the ones that are there because they're so into it. It's just a lot of fun in a slower chat because there's, you can follow the chat a little more because it's a slower chat than our like Sunday nights where it gets crazy sometimes.
My first live stream on Patreon, it was just me and Kathy. That was it. And I did my readings like there was 9 million people in there. It didn't really matter because why would I not? First of all, I was going to do it anyway, but there's somebody watching. You still need to start reading. Read. Like, what are you going to do? Just sit there and they sit there until you wait for a crowd to show up? Like, if all you're trying to do is draw a crowd, then you really need to do something. We can call it entertainment and not do something in this line of work. I think if that's all you want are the eyes, then I mean, either make that plain, because there is a woman my brother watches. She doesn't do this. She's a phlebotomist, and so she shows you how to draw the blood because she's working in a clinic. Blah blah blah. And 100 and something people will join, and she says, "Okay, once we get to such and such, we'll start." And if she doesn't get there, she will end it because it's not worth it for her to take the time if nobody's watching. And nobody's watching is the problem I always have. There's 120 people in there. Would you call that person a nobody to their face?
Mm-mm.
Would you say you're a nobody and you're no? So I don't get that mindset. And there's 634 people watching. For me, it's easier to not quantify that because it's just a number. If I saw 638 people looking at me, it would be a little different. Right now, it's just names in the chat. I can't see nobody, so it's a little different. It would be a lot different if we're standing in the room and there's 600 people looking at you, and then you're like, "Oh my god!"
It's the same way with donations, whether they're donating to us or we're doing a fundraiser. I appreciate somebody that gives $1 as much as somebody gives 100. And I appreciate somebody who can't afford to give as much as somebody that gives $1 because they're supporting by just watching.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, it doesn't, the amount doesn't matter as to me. It's especially like those fundraisers, because people feel bad if they aren't in a financial place to donate. I'm like, you're supporting by being here,
Just
giving
by
us
watching.
a thumbs up, and
Watching the chat sends it to you. YouTube doesn't care if you hit thumbs up or thumbs down. Now, if you don't like something, don't hit thumbs down. Just go to the channel and hit not interested with the little 3 little dots. Because if you hit thumbs down, YouTube still counts it basically as a thumbs up. Because the thumbs down is just for the person. If say 10 people watched it and you got 6 thumbs down and 4 thumbs up, then that's just saying your audience doesn't care for this kind of content. So make something else. It doesn't really mean that the video then won't show up, because guess what's going to happen? You're going to hit thumbs down and YouTube is going to show you another video just like it because you engaged with the video. That's what it's called, engagement. And so if you don't like something, just go on to the next thing. Just hit not interested. Don't show me, whatever the case may be. If you engage with that video at all, YouTube is going to show you another one just like it. So we'll shift to this. I'll start with you, Tony. Do you ever feel burdened by your gifts?
No. I was gonna say when sad things happen and because I'm an empath, I feel everything really, really strongly, really like physically. I can feel other people's pain or feel bad energy or negative energy or painful energy or so. But that's just life, right? So I really can't say that. I can't say that. I think that no is probably my answer. It could have been a short answer, but no. I don't think
What
so.
about you, Lori?
I don't know if it's burden. I will have dreams about someone, or I will hear that someone's going to be sick, that I know, or I'll see something. So that is, it's heavy. I don't know if it's a burden. The only time I think it's been weird is like if somebody wants to try to be my friend just because they want me to read for them or something. That would be, I've had that happen, and that was sad because I really value my friendships. So in that way, yeah, a little bit.
What about you, Jim?
I am that way. I had a friend who wanted me to read for her all the time for free. And, my friends know, like, if they're going through something, I will offer to read for them. It's like, wait for me to offer to read for you. occasionally, because I do phone readings, people pick up my phone number and they'll text me like, a question they thought of after their reading and they want me to throw cards on it. And it's like, I'm on my off time. I just, it's like, no, when I am done for the day, I'm done for the day. I'm not going to go back and throw cards on 50 questions you thought of after the fact. So I'm good at setting my boundaries, but that's the only time it kind of becomes a burden.
My gift is not burdensome. I am. I burden myself because the ego part, I get in the way. And I'm trying to hear, but meanwhile, this won't move. And it's like, because a lot of times I want it to make perfect sense. And when it doesn't, not to me, I do want to make perfect sense to me, but it's not my reading. It's always for somebody else. And it's like, I want it to make perfect sense. And then especially when I'm explaining it to you and it's not clicking. And I'm like, I want it to make perfect sense. Instead of just say it, leave it, and then go to the next thing, because it might make sense later. They're in a mind space too, is what I have to remember. They may be focused on something I'm not saying, or focused on something I am saying and missing something else, or whatever the case may be. But I have to remember, say it, leave it, let it water, and then it'll make sense.
How many times have you done a reading where you get an email 2 weeks later? Oh, I know who that was.
Exactly what I'm saying. This is why I have to leave it.
They have to have amnesia while they're getting a reading, and then all of a sudden it hits them. Oh, I know who that Marianne was. It hits them later.
That's exactly why. So we got one more question, and then we'll do our last giveaway for the Luminous or Lustrous Tarot.
Johnny giving gifts for his birthday.
Yes, I mean you gotta keep it balanced. You gotta keep it balanced. If I give, then, or if you give, I gotta give too. Again, the Morning Sky Shamanic Oracle deck is officially launching next month, but you can order yours right now at shininghawkhealing.com. And we gave one now. What's her name? What's the child name? Jody Roberts. if you send me your address when you get settled and all that, then I will send you one too. Well, Tony will send you one. I've got them in my cupboard over here. I will get one to you. So the last question I have is, what are your thoughts? And we'll start with you, Lori. What are your thoughts on children in divination or spiritual work? Learning for them. What are your thoughts on children learning spiritual work?
I would like them to teach me some of their things. You mean picking up tools?
Like if you have one of your granddaughters or grandchildren wanted to read tarot, what is your thoughts on that?
I'm all for it, but I would get them like depending on their age, I would get them maybe an oracle deck, or maybe like the young angel Doreen Virtue, one of her first decks that's real child friendly, or like Tony's deck, something that doesn't, I don't know, does your deck have a demon or anything? No.
Now there is something called a kids tarot, mind you.
Oh,
where
okay.
There's just kids in it, and there's nothing called death, nothing called tower. There is no shocking, scary image. Like there's none of this business.
Yeah, I don't have that. I don't have demons or.
Yeah, I might go with an oracle, something, or crystals. I took my boys to crystal shop. I mean, all the time. We picked stuff. We went crystal shopping all the time. They have crystals. They both have crystals.
What about you, Jen? What are your thoughts on children in divination?
I've helped children who are mediums, because sometimes it can be a little bit scary, like, why is there a person in my closet, that kind of thing. So I've helped younger people. I've read cards for children under 10, and they're interested, and I try to answer them very plainly when they ask me questions like, what is a medium? And, I had a young boy that asked me if I could pick up on his gerbil that passed away 2 months ago. And I picked up his gerbil and was giving him messages, very distinct messages from his gerbil, and helping them understand, what it means to be on the other side and stuff. So I'm all for it, but I think they have to also, if they're going to use a tool like Tarot or a Ouija board, the interest there and stuff, you have to teach them how to protect themselves and how to not open a portal and just leave it open.
Yes.
What about you, Tony?
You have all kinds of stuff traipsed in through your house. It's like, oh my God, what did you do? Yeah, I think that when they're ready, if they come to me, I will sort of like Lori was saying, if I was to give them a deck, it would be a deck like my deck, or a deck that has, is kid centric. So I don't have a problem with that as long as they come to me, and I'm not trying to force my beliefs on any child, because they,
and their parents are aware.
Yeah. And they ultimately are more connected to spirit than we are at this point. I mean, not us necessarily, but people our age aren't necessarily more spiritual than a child is, because the child most likely is still very connected to spirit. But I wouldn't push anything on a child. I would, if the child came to me and they had permission from their parents and I felt like they were ready, I would start to teach them whatever I felt was age appropriate.
I'm all for it. I wish, beyond belief, I wish somebody would have gave me tarot cards when I was 8, but I'd probably have 5,000 by now. So like I had very enabling people around me. Whatever I wanted, they bought, because I was the baby and everybody was grown. Brother, sister, everybody was grown. And so if I pointed at it long enough, I got it. But I'm here for it. If you 10, 12, 4, 1, 3, 2, whatever, if they want it, teach them. Now teach them what they can, take and handle, that type of thing. Be appropriate. Like death is death, but just be appropriate. But if they show an interest, then that's your window to sort of nurture, because they have a gift too. They're drawn to it for some reason. It's not like the kid with the fork in the light socket, to where that's not really good for you. They're drawn to it for some reason. So, baby step them. Like I said, there is a tarot called Kids Tarot. There's tarot with like bunnies on it. There's tarot. Trust me, I know. So
You probably got 5 of them.
I did. They're all in my wish list too. So I
love talking to kids when they're under 5. Of course, only if the parents are okay with it. I'll talk to them about it. But if you talk to children under 5, a lot of them remember their past lifetime before this one. And it's really a lot of fun to talk to them about that and see what all they remember and everything. And was the mom that you have now, was she in that lifetime? It's interesting. They recall a lot.
So I have some more questions, and I will break those up and put them on Soul Chats in the future. And I want to thank Jen and Tony and Lori for being here, for chatting with me. Thank you to the people, I won't say your government names out there, to the people who sent me the chocolate, and thank you for Lori for sending me chocolates. This me and this has got some quality time spent together.
I am so jealous.
I love it.
I am so jealous.
Oh my God. Oh my goodness.
Oh.
Roll that beautiful bean footage.
Oh
my God.
That's just mean.
It is a little bit, but I don't have feelings, so it's all right.
And now all you need is some ice cream to go along with it.
Oh, and I don't have any.
Johnny's got some aliens that abducted some of his other chocolate because it just disappeared.
It did disappear, like the chocolate Lori sent me. Yeah. And I ate some, and then I looked down, and like 5 were gone, and I'm like, "What the heck just happened here?" Meanwhile, there's like wrappers everywhere. Like, who in my candy right now? And why didn't I hear it? Because you can hear that type stuff. Anyway,
It was you,
I didn't know. I didn't do it. I didn't eat 7 chocolates in 2 minutes. No. I didn't. Maybe 9, but not 7. Why is 7 gone? Anyway.
I astral traveled and ate some, Johnny.
Okay, I'm gonna stick with that. You know, spiritual people might believe such a thing. Anyway, so number 1 through 100. I will send this out to you. Put your number in right now. Thank y'all again for being here.
It was a pleasure. Happy
And
birthday.
thank all of y'all
Happy
for coming out, all 600 and 700 of y'all that were here.
Wow.
Again, Jesus, what is going fast now? Let me stop talking, concentrate. Use your brain power.
I like Norman Love's chocolates too. If anyone wants to send me chocolate C's, Norman Love. If you want to see less of me on YouTube, you can send me.
Where is Lori Chocolate High? She's gone.
I'm trying to put together my Amazon, like Johnny's Amazon Wish has like 100 tarot decks on there.
Yeah.
I'm trying to put mine together, but
all right, Trillium Tarot. You got it. It was
8. Yay!
That's for you. And let me do another announcement again. Again, we will be doing a tarot class August the 5th. And so that will be when it starts. This is a good deck to go have because it is indeed the Rider-Waite. It's just in brighter, more high definition color. You can see more detail in it. And so we will start August the 5th. We will be using the Rider-Waite. If you want to reserve a spot, just email me saying I would like to reserve a spot. I will put your name down. Don't pay me anything yet. I said email me and say you would like to reserve a spot. And if you would like to reserve a spot, I will put your name down. But don't pay me anything yet.
Here.
Like I sent this sucker chocolate and everything, and he won't even write my name. But if you want to take the class, you say I got a few of y'all I see in the email now. So if you want to take the class, just let me know. Write your name down. Yes, you write your name down, and I'll see it from here. Email me and say, "Can you reserve a spot?" Thank you, Kathy, and I will. Yes, I'm trying to do 15 conversations at the same time because that's 15. Email me saying, "Put me down." I will put you down, not verbally, but I will put you down. And also the class notes I will send to you before the class starts. But if you want the detailed notes, thank you, Robin. Go to trilliumtarot.com and the detailed notes are there. I believe it's $10. Those are the notes she put together. So they are very detailed, basically everything I taught in there. So like I said, go there, get the detailed notes. She has a calendar there too that has all of our stuff in there that we do, like our Sunday streams. And if you want to know when such and such is going live and all
it's
that.
a great
she has that
website.
there.
She's got it all going on there.
So make sure you go trilliumtarot.com, not just for the notes, but just to keep up with her favorite readers on YouTube. She put it all in one place. That was a mouthful. Hopefully you got all that. So thank y'all. And we will see y'all on Friday for the Friday night reads. And Lori will see you sometime this week with another live stream. And thank you, Karen. And we will see y'all when we see y'all. Thank y'all so much for being here. Thank you for all the super chats. Thank you for all the PayPals too. PayPal doesn't put your email in there anymore, so I can't send you anything back. But thank you for the PayPals. Thank you for the birthday wishes. It has been a good one.
Happy birthday.
Enjoy
Enjoy
the giant hamburger before I came here. So happy days.
Happy birthday to you.
Thank you. So I will see y'all later. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.